real immortal Archon-based armies. Like, he's very, very good at doing what he does.
It's very hard nowadays to play outside of the box, you know, to go for stuff like bailing drops or like all the creative things you could think about. Even something like a Nidus is not even really creative anymore. Like, everybody does it. Like, so everybody got better against it. But here we are, map number 1 here in this best of 3, starting in the northwest, playing as the Blue Protoss. It is PtitDrogo.
And spawning over in the southeast side, as our red Zerg playing for Team Liquid, it is TLO. Now, one thing that I always enjoy when I watch TLO games, it's like wondering what he's going to do, you know, and how he's going to execute it. Like, everybody that reads Reddit or reads little clips and stuff, you've seen those banelings that hop in from one side of the Nidus, then pop out on the other and blow up all the Marines and stuff. Like, he is very, very cutesy with some of the stuff that he can show. It's not always necessarily the highest level of play, but it's always, always enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, he plays very aggressive in the matchup, as you should. You can't let a Zerg drone up as they want to, so you have to throw stuff like Adepts, Stargate units, sometimes Archons to go for some harassment on some of the drones. And in the games that he actually had success in, PtitDrogo's harassment against Serral was amazing. Like that one game where his War Prism got caught, but the 2 Archons that were there did a ton of damage. Actually, that was one of the games where Serral was trying to go straight from Lings into Hydralisks by skipping Roaches. And that's kind of what put him in trouble as well. So
was that the Cyber Forest game?
There
was definitely like a 007 War Prism down the left side of the map that just got away, and the Archons did
And then
survive.
one of the games also that Serral won. Ooh, that gets away.
That's always nasty.
Oh, he still tries. He's going for this turbo on one drone. He's cornered.
I tell you what, though, if this doesn't work, this is a lot of denied mining time that Drogo's got away with here, which is really, really good for him. And yeah, he does actually get away. Now, these drones, they're acting like nothing happened. They go and mine these minerals. But yeah, that's already kind of a little mental victory for Drogo.
One of the games that Serral won was Thunderbird, I believe, where he went for the 12 pull very early on. He was able to unpower the pylon, so we'll have to look out here.
So the first Overlord
TLO tries something like this eventually.
Yeah. And how do you feel about Stargate opening right now in PvZ? Because I know a lot of people have been opting for like robos in and out.
I think it's good to mix in different things, because if you always go for the same Archon, you know, with either a Dark Shrine or Templar Archive, usually a Dark Shrine harassment, it's so easy for the opponent to do all the right things, you know, kind of skip the spores, time out the Roaches perfectly to defend against it, and then to drone up as much as they want. But by mixing in Stargates, you still kind of keep Zergs guessing, especially on a map like this, where it's not always like, you know, super easy to get the scout plus keep your Overlord alive. And in this case, we see PtitDrogo going for the Stalker. So even though TLO is going to scout it, he's going to have to lose an Overlord for it that he's going to have to replace, and it kind of breaks the whole rhythm. Then he's going to have to get spores, but then you don't really care as Protoss, because usually you don't suicide your Oracles. You're just kind of flying, get some damage anyway. So I think it's good to mix in at least 2 main different builds.
There's a lot of power in versatility, especially like having 2 very, very different builds that require 2 very different responses. You can't just play blindly. You always have to scout. You always have to sacrifice something to get that information. Now, TLO in this game, he is opting for like a pretty darn early
Oh my god,
third.
he gets away.
He does get away. That's actually kind of a big deal. Now, it might be, well, given that he's actually gone for an Oracle first, do you think it's just going to be like up to maybe 3 Oracle kind of stuff? Cause
yeah, at some point he will get something to kill Overlords. Usually a Phoenix to get rid of some of these. But yeah, PtitDrogo, a lot of the time he goes into 2, 3 Oracles. He's very good with them.
And right now,
see the eye tracker here.
Yeah, we see.
It's not looking at the supply that much.
Not as much as you'd be, right?
Yeah.
That eye tracker would be locked on that supply the whole time.
And went to the 3rd hatchery, saw that there was really nothing to kill just yet. Not going to get too crazy and stubborn. He's saving the energy for when the 2nd Oracle gets there, so that he can fly into one of those mineral lines, ideally where there is going to be the least queens. And even though there's going to be at least 1 spore usually per base, you can still kind of fly in and kill drones.
By the way, there's one really nice thing that TLO's done this game. Look at this spread of Lings around the base of Drogo. And he actually just saw the 2nd Oracle of Drogo joining this initial one. So he knows what's up, and the scouting was very good by him. And a really quick drone pull by him, but Drogo, he's dancing around that mineral line. 4 drone kills already.
Ooh, oh, you went, yeah. Oh my god.
I tell you what, that's kind of a bad start for Drogo.
He couldn't even have recalled either, because the queens were always going to be in range. Oh my god. Zergling run by on the other side. Gets the probe. TLO here is on point with this. Even though he lost some drones on his side of the map, he delays a little bit that 3rd Nexus here that was going to go down.
And back at home, like, he's denied one of the Oracles, and he's still denying this 3rd base, just making Drogo's life a little more difficult. In StarCraft 2, you can make everything go as well for you as possible, but if you're making your opponent's life hard too. Now, this Oracle count is meant to be at 3, so there's a lot less power in this, there's a lot less durability in this too, because Oracles are kind of frail. Dario, or rather TLO, he's up to 55 drones now. The Oracle's just man-fighting the Queens at this time, and I'm not sure this is the right move. This is getting very scary for Drogo, and yeah, another one goes down.
Yeah, very uncharacteristic here. TLO was on point with the Queens, he had the extra ones pretty close, and this is definitely not worth it for PtitDrogo to lose an Oracle for a Queen here, which, you know, definitely feels pretty cheap to have an extra one here and lose it for that. But the Nidus now is going down for TLO. And he knows that these Oracles were big investments, that PtitDrogo is going to have a smaller army on his side of the map, so actually he cancels upon having that scouted and goes for a Spire instead.
Mind games, Todd, mind games. I like the fact that he cancelled it upon it being scouted. I wonder if he actually saw that Oracle flying in, he's like, okay, I'm going to make a Nidus just so it scouts it.
Yeah.
Probably not, but...
And because PtitDrogo is getting ready to defend a Nidus, Stalker's in position.
And he did see it, right? He did see the cancel animation in the fog.
Here's the thing, against... Yeah, but...
He knows he has gas to spend on something, so maybe he's just like, okay, what is it going to be? Like, this could be one of those things where, you know, you see a Terran upgrading Cloak for the Banshee, you always have to respect it, regardless of
maybe he saw it go up, but then he never looked again to see that it was cancelled. And then he's still thinking of a Nidus, because look, he's focusing on getting ground army, he's getting charge. And against Aspire, you know, it's the opposite. You want to be getting some Phoenixes now, some maybe extra Stalkers, but PtitDrogo is moving across the map. It's one of the good things you can do against Aspire as well, is really threaten an attack on the ground, to force more ground units, force the Zerg to spend some of his gas that he's going to need for the Mutas.
I tell you what, if he knows that this was like a cancel into a Spire play, this is absolute 200 IQ to be moving out by Drogo here, because this army is definitely scary. Now, where is he going to attack? He has to be kind of safe with this. There is a counter on the other side of the map for TLO with the Roaches.
And that wasn't walled off here on time, so he's going to have to reinforce with charge lots. Those force fields are going to be very scary here on this area, by the way. Like, if you can land a straight line, even though there are Ravagers. Ooh. Yeah, exactly like this.
Those are some good bios though on the sentries, and these force fields are real key.
But then they started connecting really hard.
Yeah, like now the drones are being pulled and such, and I mean, it's not really enough here. Like, he's got an army on the other side of the map, and he's actually killing a lot of probes in Drogo's base, but these are going to get cleaned up by the Zealots. The army, the Warp Prism's in the spawn, he gets shut down by TLO. That is great moves. Now this army is stranded for Drogo, and his economy, it's fairly even with TLO, but he's got a 4th base behind this.
Yeah, TLO with a great defense on his side of the map, found a run-by on the other side. Walker count about equal, and PtitDrogo will add on an extra Robo here around his 3rd base, as we see Zergflyer attacks +1 starting for TLO now, ready to kite against these charge lots that are being sent around to try and go for some counter attack.
It's kind of a nice position for TLO to be in. Like, he didn't even have to use that spy attack, and he also survived while doing the spy attack.
He spent a lot of gas on these Roaches and Ravagers, actually looking to try and find a big push here on the other side of the map. A lot of these charge lots that are going across the map are kind of missing here in the fight. For PtitDrogo, who's struggling, is down to 3 Stalkers here. That's it.
Oh, and the Immortal's kind of left alone here. One sentry is being warped in, and we'll be able to keep that Immortal alive. And the thing for TLO here, he sees a second Robo on the way. Oh, is that Immortal? Oh,
wow.
No.
Not having a Prism here is so bad that one Robo is going to get sniped here. Actually, no. He comes back in. Just for that, 7 Mutas are going to start. And PtitDrogo is in panic mode. He's getting a Void right here, because he thought he needed that to try and defend against the Roaches that were attacking him. He's not even thinking about the possibility of Mutas here, so that's going to be a really bad surprise. It's also going to line up very well when +1 finishes, when they finally reach those mineral lines, and you need to have at least 1 cannon and 1 shield battery per mineral line, which I don't believe PtitDrogo has. He's unaware of this.
There is one thing that TLO is really utilizing this game, and that is the size of this map. It's really, really huge, so I love the fact that he's expanded all the way down the right side, and these mutas, if they pop up in the right place, it's going to cause Drogo a lot of trouble. But Drogo, he's kind of sniffed it out a little bit. He started his Phoenix, and he's starting his 4th base as well. I like these moves by Drogo.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting High Templars here to go straight into Archons, I believe. So his army is still going to be pretty scary, but the lack of mobility of it, and Archons, they cannot even go through the wall that he has at the natural. So defending against the Mutas is going to be a little bit harder. It goes for a single Phoenix right now. But those Mutas, they're sneaking here at the north, ready to fly straight into that main mineral line, which again has neither a cannon or a shield battery. So that's going to be probes starting to die really fast. Okay, Panic mode is on here for PtitDrogo in the main base. Starts additional Stargates. He must have seen some of the mutas come out. Shield battery starting. Is it too late here? Phoenix is trying to fly away against those mutas. He's going to empower the Stargate.
This is really big, and I mean, the 2 other Stargates are in production, but only 2 Phoenix, and that number has been dwindled to 0. The Stalkers are warped in, but these mutas are doing good damage, and 180 supply tot against 98. TLO's doing it, and he's looking really strong doing it too.
Yeah, the push at the front gets the cancel on the fourth base, snipes 2 Archons as well. TLO is all over the place. He smells blood in the water. PtitDrogo struggling to stay in this game right now. He has got nothing really to defend the main base effectively. He's just going to tap out. TLO goes up 1-0 here against PtitDrogo.
If you told me TLO was going to start off this series as well as he did, like the denial of the Oracles was really clean, the denial of the attack as well, while also going for Spy attack. And I guess like the clutch decision making as well to just cancel that Nidus as soon as it got spotted and to go into that Spire. Just a lot of really good play by TLO that game. And Drogo, he can be a bit of a tilter. I hope this doesn't affect him too much.
Don't let his smile to die for trick you.
He's a killer under that. Yeah, he's a killer under that. It is such a smug little grin too. I can imagine like looking over after you've just lost a map to him and you see this board and you see him stretching right now like, oh, that was easy, man. That was when all is planned. But no, he played really good that game. And I love the fact that he didn't show the mutas too early and he waited until he had a number that was like, okay, if these fly in and you're not prepared, like this is game over.
Shutting down his prism on his side of the map was very, very important. I feel like Zergs have gotten so good at this. They understand that, you know, without a prism, you can't reinforce very effectively. And also seeing the attack coming. You know, you mentioned the links all over in position, ready to spot whatever was coming. And he really saw that that was a big threat on the ground. That wasn't a fake move out. He got a ton of roaches to defend. And we see him go for the life pill of this class here.
I was just about to say, that's a newly married man right there, pulling out the yoga on the stage. 1-0 against Drogo after like just coming off his honeymoon. I'm actually very impressed with TLO. It seems that he's been reinvigorated somewhat.
Yeah. What's next? He's going to do the splits on stage.
Can you imagine that? Like a backflip Blink style, like after he wins the series? If he does win the series, I mean, honestly, when I saw these 2 names going up against one another, like TLO, he came off a win against Snoot to get here, which that's pretty brutal beating a teammate. Also one as powerful as Snoot, but he definitely looked real good against Drogo. Like, I'm truly, truly impressed.
Yeah, you mentioned the MMR difference between the 2. Usually that means something, right?
That's a David and Goliath story, you know, 6.2, 6.3k MMR against 6.9k Drogo. Yeah. Like, that's huge. And very often, like...
6.2, that's good, but I mean, like, you know, Rotti's got 6.2.
Ah, but Roddy's a legend, mate.
Yeah.
And that's on his best account, to be fair. On his other ones, you know, the ones that he plays on.
Yeah. He warms up on another account. Real pros play on only one account. Actually, no, they don't.
No. No, when Hirameen's sitting in GM with like 5 accounts kind of thing, like, no. He's but yeah, I am truly, truly impressed by TLO so far. I hope that he keeps this up going into this tournament because it feels like it's been too long since I saw TLO do really darn well at one of these WCS events. Like, he's now staying in North America, and he's been doing well in the North American Challenges. I believe he made top 4 in one of the most recent ones, but yeah, I always like to see him do well.
In this one, though, didn't do nearly as well. I believe he lost at the start of the bracket to Future.
Oh, to Future.
Yeah.
I mean, he's one of the Americans that we're looking forward to see do well here, too.
Definitely one of the new talents. Like, it's going to be exciting to see him in action in group stage number 3.
16 or 17 years old as well, one of the young'uns. And quite a cocky nickname, too. Future of Terran. None of us have been doing it right so far, but Future of Terran, he's coming in strong.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
And here we're just having a little look around the venue here. You get to see what's up. There's so many games going on in this place. It's so beautiful to see. And it's also all my favorite game, Todd.
Yeah. It's nice to see the camaraderie as well between all the pros, you know, kind of just watching each other play, talking about the games. It seems very casual. Like, you'd almost, if you didn't know there was a tournament here, you know, you'd almost think, you know, it's a regular internet cafe where people are just playing games for fun. No. There is a lot of money on the lines. There's a lot of WCS points.
I think that was Scarlet just playing Protoss too that I just saw there, so maybe we'll see that pulled out pretty soon. But anyhow, we will be getting into this series again and spawning over in the top right of New Repugnancy. Currently 0-1 down, it is PtitDrogo.
His opponent, the German Zerg, representing Team Liquid. It is TLO. Do we count TLO as European or North American?
Oh, I mean, I've never met somebody that screams more German to me, you know? Like, when I think of accents, I think of TLOs as like the most German thing I've ever heard kind of thing. So no, we'll claim him as long as he's doing
German
well.
trains as well.
Oh, yes.
Which is really rare, you know, like, to be so disillusioned about how poorly the trains run in Germany.
Now, new repugnancy, if we just talk about the map a little bit, this goes from Acropolis being one of the biggest in the pools to one of the absolute smallest. So this is a game that I think favors the Protoss quite a bit more. Like, those timing attacks can hit a lot earlier, the Warp Prism can arrive earlier. None of this cheeky stuff where Nidus can, like, just, you know, remove the distance of the map and make it a non-goer kind of.
Do you think last game he actually meant to go Nidus, or was it just a trick the whole time where he threw it down knowing that it was probably going to be scouted and then cancel?
I hope it's a question that, well, if TLO does win this series, I hope it's a question that Smix asks him, because I have to think, I never do a strategy like that where I'm like, okay, I hope it gets scouted so I can cancel it, because then you're relying on your opponent being super duper good about scouting all the time, right? Like, if you actually did get up to 90% of the Nidus done, it's like, oh, damn, he hasn't scouted me. I'm just going to have to cancel this now. Like, that would suck.
Yeah. I guess you just keep it then, because it hasn't been scouted.
Yeah, but I think the Spire was always planned at some point.
Yeah.
Like, let's say the Nidus goes pretty well, because the Nidus, I mean, rather the Spire worked so well on that map, and also it's very hard to scout. Like, if you have a lot of sentries, I know Hallucination got buffed in that it costs a lot cheaper, but trying to scout your opponent on Acropolis, the hallucinations take a lot longer to get to the other side of the map, and there's so many bases as well. They just time out a little bit faster.
TLO's got his eye on that probe. It escaped last game. This time, didn't really dedicate that much to it. Like, it's transferring drones to mine, I guess, from the other bay.
That's a big point, too. The fact that those drones didn't get that probe early on and he committed to it.
Yeah.
Like, for me, that's the kind of stuff that can make me go, like, oh, damn, this game isn't going to go well for me. And, like, the fact that he kept his composure a little bit. But let's be fair. TLO's one of the veterans. He's one of the oldies now of this scene and this game. He's been around ever since the start of Wings of Liberty.
He still sees the Overlord, by the way, above the gateway. It's almost like a mind game, you know.
I see you and you see me. In fact, what is he making here? So he's got like an adapt. Stargate, wow.
Again, wants to try his luck one more time. I mean, last game the Oracles didn't do so well. Like, they killed a few drones in the first place, but like Lings on the other side were being annoying. By the way, there's a ton of Lings you already been made in this one. Yeah. Almost like unusual and uncharacteristic. As PtitDrogo is adding 2 more gates, it's going to be an Oracle once again.
This to me spells like real confidence though in Drogo. Like, the fact that he's going for a strategy that absolutely didn't work out, and I mean, he did lose his oracles, it just says to me that he's very confident that he can show this, and he actually wants to show it off and perform it correctly, because the game previously, it didn't go well for him at all. And this is a decent little catch on this adapt. It's actually a full wall off behind us too, right?
But still, like, these Lings will keep on doing some damage. He might be able to get the Cybercore.
Or at least forcing this Oracle to be defensive, which is not what you want to be doing. So this is kind of a little victory here. Oh, this could get dicey.
Not like this.
Not like this, Todd.
And Lings are going to get in. They're going to go onto that Stalker.
Is he going to... Okay, I thought that he might be able to get that Stalker there. Like, the Oracle's completely out of energy, but now your first Oracle, it's been spotted. It didn't get to do any economic damage, which is exactly what it wants to be doing.
So even though he didn't make drones in the place of those Lings were definitely worth it. Like, they forced the gateway that was then cancelled. They caught the first unit that was out. The Stalker lost a lot of its hit points and kind of caused chaos on the other side of the map. And the Oracle, having to spend energy this early. One of the sports actually is late. That's being made right now onto that center base here.
And is that the one that Drogo's going to go for? I mean, it's only got 1 drone there, so it's... I think TLO had his priorities correct. Now, he was really fast about drone pulling the previous game. He does go for the relatively empty base here. And no, doesn't get to really get too much damage done, but is going for the Queen. So, a bit of a Queen sniper is Drogo, and doesn't get any drones with this. So, a Queen, at least you get to keep the drones alive, and you see TLO just droning up like a madman.
Yeah, and that's exactly what he should be doing here. And that's the thing about Stargate. You know there's not going to be too much ground to really threaten. He still has got the Lings on the other side of the map scouting. If anything were to head his way. I'm surprised we don't see like a Phoenix to try and clear out some of these Overlords, but usually, you know, it might be just the one on your side of the map. It's not always like necessarily super worth it, because you can still scout with it.
Yeah, usually Protoss have like multiple ways to use Stargate. It's like you make the Phoenix first, then make the Oracle afterwards. just so you can, like, you know, go for the Queen lift and then go for the drones, or just doing what Drogo's done this game where you go for multiple oracles. And both styles, it's nice to mix them up because you need two quite different responses. And look at this, Todd. TLO going for roaches, and then he's got a Spire in the mix as well.
Yeah, I think he's going to want to basically show this to PtitDrogo, letting him think that everything's normal. But he's already mining out of 6 gases across his 3 bases, so there's going to be a lot of gas that he's going to bank very quickly. And then if he does the same thing and again goes into a bunch of mutas and catches PtitDrogo off guard, that's the dream. You know, if you can make it to a mineral line and there is no cannon or shield battery there, then that means you can always do some economic damage, because Protoss can't have their armies in all of those places, in all of their bases. But PtitDrogo might have something to say about this. He's moving out with a lot of sentries that he warped in not too long ago, but I've already been building up on energy a whole bunch.
And you know, while all this was going on, he didn't really probe up that hard at all, and he did pump out a lot of gateways. So here we do see a lot of warp-ins at the top of this ramp, and this is a really good fighting spot for the Protoss.
Yeah, TLO's army is just really small and sad right now. I don't know that he can fight this. He needs to pull drones. Does he choose to fight or run away? He's not going to sack the 3rd base. He's trying to mineral warp the drones in the center of this army here to not let it retreat. Ravagers can only buy so much time. He's trying to regroup with every single unit that he's got rallied here into that location right now. The Warp Prism can't be reached right now.
Right, there were definitely some nice pullbacks by Drogo, but he is definitely low on force fields now, and those sentries, they are not bruisers, they do not have a lot of damage, and TLO, even with equal supply, is kind of marching in here, trying to do a lot of damage, but those are nice force fields. The Ravagers, the Queens, they can't get through, and also the Roaches can't retreat back to safety either.
Yeah, PtitDrogo dodged the Corrosive Bile here on the Warp Prism, beautifully pulled back one single Muta in production tab, as the Forge and Twilight Council is going to start off the back of this here for TLO.
Oh, look at that Immortal too. Like, he is a lot of damage single-handedly, and Drogo did a really good job of keeping him alive. 4 mutas are being made now. A lot of Drogo's army is in the red. It's definitely not a healthy army. And back home, he has been probing, and he's actually overtaken TLO in work count too.
Yeah, but those mutas, I think as soon as TLO took that fight, he realized that he was going to hold, that there wasn't enough of these to be a real threat. So he was like, you know what? It's time for me to squeeze in my Mutalisks. He's probably going to want to fly either into the natural or main base with the mutas, keep PtitDrogo a little bit busy, and then attack elsewhere with the ground army, maybe at the 3rd or natural around the wall. Even though he's going with everything right now.
Are you a little surprised with how he's doing this, just with his whole army at the front here?
Yeah, this is... I mean, he thinks he can take this army here of PtitDrogo, and maybe he can. The Muta is going to work on that prism, trying to shut it down. I mean, he can reinforce with the pylons that are nearby anyway. PtitDrogo losing his entire ground army. They've traded, but these Immortals, they're going to get the clean up here.
They certainly are. I mean, like, the Ravagers and the Roaches are a little bit faster than the Immortals, and charge isn't done yet, so TLO can escape. And the supplies, they've been so close for a while now, but I feel that's a little deceptive, because that's usually a pretty good sign for the Protoss, and you see Drogo here just kind of getting a little ahead, and as his army builds up, he's going to have Phoenix out, he's going to have charge lots out. Drogo's looking a lot better this game.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised that TLO did things this way here. I really thought he was going to fly into those middle lines, try to kill a bunch of probes here and there, cause some chaos, and then attack at the front with the ground army. But he attacked with everything that was defended, and now, plan B, the Nidus.
Oh, and I mean, like, the Mutas will grant a lot of vision, so he could potentially put that Nidus anywhere aggressively. Like, Mutas are very, very quick, and now he's cleaning up this Zealot run-by here, which isn't going to do much damage. And Drogo, he definitely needs to know that he's against a Zerg staying on a very, very low drone count here, because he's going to be busting out a ton of units and throwing up at him very, very soon.
Yeah, and with the +1 attack about to finish, that's going to be very nice for PtitDrogo to have that here in a second. He's getting enough Phoenixes to deal with any kind of air that it could be. And starting to, I think he's going to start building up his Zealot count to a pretty insane amount here in a second. And I wouldn't be surprised if he added some Archons to his army too. And it's going to be just very hard for TLO to deal with this. Like, obviously he's very Roach Ravager heavy, but without anything more. I mean, even if you add on Banelings, right? Like, there's going to be Archons at the front. So he's just going all in here with this Nidus, I think.
And I think this is a super blind spot in Drogo's base. And he has
45
no
drones
idea.
to 64 probes. Like, this is it. Either this works and he wins, or this is going to get shut down and he's going to be in a world of trouble. No recall or anything like that just yet. I mean, walking through the wall here is going to be tricky, especially with Archons. He's going to break one of his gates.
That's a smart move. Now the Archons can get back in. But getting up this ramp against this amount of Ravagers, that's going to be ridiculously hard. I think TLO, this is his best chance this game. Look at those, all those Biles on the ramp. That is so hard to get up. The Zergling's blocking, the Biles hitting everything, but the Immortals, they are stocky, they are strong, they are moving up the ramp. But I don't think there's a Warp Prism here to help keep them alive.
Oh my god, I think he needed to recall here. Everything's dying so quick. Queens are left over. It looks like maybe PtitDrogo might be able to clean up, even though he's lost a ton of units here. He's still ahead in Walkers, and PtitDrogo gets the equalizer here. This looks scarier than it was, I guess, for a second because of the setup on the high ground here from TLO.
I tell you what, those Immortals living up to their name there, they were taking Biles in the face as they moved up that ramp, and it was TLO's only shot to try and win that game. Some cheeky all-in, and the Nidus was in a perfect spot. It was totally unscouted, but Drogo did the right move. It was very clutch, killing his gateway so his Archons could get back into his base, because without those, and while single filing through that line, it would have been way, way more difficult to retake his base. So nice clutch decision-making by Drogo.
I'm surprised he didn't recall, because then he might have had a much better setup to engage into this, but apparently he didn't need to.
Yeah, maybe it was an energy situation, right? Like, he didn't have energy on the correct nexus, thus couldn't recall.
Yeah.
Either way, like, the way that he handled it, I think it was about as good as you can. Yeah, he was eating Biles, but he couldn't not eat Biles, given that there was only one way back into his base without using the recall. I was a little surprised that the Warp Prism, like, there wasn't a Warp Prism from what I saw. It was just, like, a lot of very, very stocky Immortals and Archons, but that's how Drogo likes to play, man. He likes a real strong A-movie kind of army.
He likes to A-move. Most Protosses do.
I know, like, a lot of people, when they play against Drogo on the ladder, and, you know, a lot of Protosses use barcodes, you can always tell it's Drogo because he makes way more Zealots than any other Protoss.
Yeah.
And he's really good at it too, yeah. As Idris would say, a useful skill to have, you know?
Well, I don't know if you can compare Zealots to carriers, which is what he was referring to initially. But all right, map number 3 here about to start. We're going to be playing on King's Cove.
In King's Cove, that's also one of the bigger maps in the pool. I'm not sure which is the biggest right now. I probably feel like Acropolis is, but King's Cove is a larger map. And New Repugnancy, I think Drogo utilized it really well. That attack positioning against the Spire kind of play.
Yeah.
It really feels like a Punisher for Spire tech type plays. So I do like the way that Drogo has been kind of like trying to play the series against TLO. Maybe know something about him a little bit.
All right, starting in the northwest, playing as the Red Zerg, representing Germany and Team Liquid. It is the Wunderwunsch TLO.
I love the nickname the Wunderwunsch, man. I love
Everybody
it so
does.
much. And spawning over in the bottom right side, as our blue Protoss, it is PtitDrogo. T. Oh yeah, we should have had you say his name to be like super correct about it.
T. It's okay. It's like pretty tough to say that for non-French.
I remember looking in the eyes of TLO at a Home Story Cup, and for
You
some
looked in his
reason,
eyes.
yeah, I looked in his
You were
eyes,
gazing into each other's eyes.
and that's when I came up with the name the Wunderwunsch.
Oh, it was you?
Yeah, man. Patented right here. So it's nice to hear other people say, you know.
Yeah.
But I remember, like, instantly he just laughed with joy. He was like, I found my name.
Good job, man. Who found the Devil Terran for you?
I found that myself.
You just find everybody's name.
I remember Carmack was in the office. He was like, oh, we need to come up with a cool name for you. I was like, how about the Devil Terran? He's like, ooh, I like that.
All right, that one probe doing its old tricks. I was really surprised in game 1 that TLO committed so much to trying to kill that probe and that it escaped. It's like super uncharacteristic in these games. I feel like when you're playing like Diamond to low masters, people are always trying to kill these probes, right? Or like in the lower leagues, but once you reach a certain level, I feel like players, they almost never dedicate anything to trying to kill the scout of their opponent.
I like that you bring that up because, like, you get down to bronze or when you're first leveling up a new account, right? And your SCV or probe goes through the mineral line. And they all chase it, and you're like, okay, this is bronze. Maybe in Silver League, it's only going to be like 10 of the workers. Then you work your way up. So it's like, how low can you go kind of thing. But yeah, the fact that TLO went full Goldie in that game, that was kind of strange. But that's the game that he won, man. Now, this probe, his job is to try and deny and just wants to scout and see what's going on. The APM tab keeps being brought up, and TLO does have insane APM, and it's because of how he has his hotkeys. He has like every hotkey action that he does, like he rebinded, so it all acts as doing like Alt 1, Alt 2 kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it works as like 4 actions at a time, which is why his APM spikes so hard.
Do you think it's actually productive? Or
No.
It's a good way to warm up, though.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, like some people, they ask that when they watch streams. They're like, "Why are you clicking all over the place in the start of the game?" Well, that's kind of to warm up, get into get into the mood, like play really fast from the get-go, so that you can keep up with that speed in the later stages. If you only did the strict minimum in the start of the game, then later, when you have to be really quick and multitask, it might be a little bit harder.
I think also, like, just as I started playing so much RTS games, that just became totally normal to me, you know? Like, I remember, like, playing the late games, and I get a bit impatient, a bit clicky, almost like a bit ADHD kind of guy, you know? Like, it really does build up after a long time. But this game, something totally different from Drogo.
Yeah, Dark Shrine opener here. He's really good with this one as well. Again, one of the games that he won when he played against Cyril in Challenger was with that build. And Cyril even did really good of kind of staying around the Warp Prism with a couple Zerglings, because when you go across the map with a Warp Prism, you're supposed to warp in 4 Dark Templars and morph them into Archons. But if you do that, they're unable to attack for some time. So Cyril, what he did is he stayed close to this. He forced PtitDrogo to morph a first Archon that's being covered by the 2 extra Dark Templars. And then the first Archon being morphed finishes and then covers the second one while it's being morphed, so that he at least has something to attack. But even then, that found enough damage. But I think that's really because Cyril was going straight into Hydralisk with skipping Roaches, but that's what TLO is doing as well. So he's going to have to rely a lot more on Quints to really help with this. He's up to 4 right now, and he's not. He's getting a 5th one. Plus 1 melee is on the way, and he's getting a ton of links.
He knows what's coming, right? Like, he actually sees the Warping as well, so he knows exactly what he's up against. He actually sees that it's going to be
This
Archons
is the same
as
thing.
well.
Yeah, he basically forced the second Archon from not being morphed immediately by sticking around. Bothers himself a little bit of time, but he knows this is coming. TLO setting up a counter-attack at the same time with his links, hoping that maybe in the wall of there won't be enough, or he can force units back at home.
Or maybe like denying the third that it is inevitably going to come kind of thing. Right there's one really cool thing about the eye tracker that I saw there from TLO. He kept looking at the top of the Nexus, and why you can't see it, often Zergs are always
the prism! Oh my god, he lost the prism!
No!
He was looking back at home at those links. That's what those links were for, keeping PtitDrogo busy. 4 Queens jumped on 5 Queens even, jumped on top of that prism. And as PtitDrogo wasn't looking in, within 2 seconds the prism was gone. He recalls, but then he lost one of the Archons before the recall could complete. And guess what? That guy is going to need to lose a little bit of weight for him to get out of that wall. So I guess he's going to have to get a prism. And TLO's now swarming with links on the other side of the map. He's going to kill those 2 Pyrons, the Stalker as well. What a disaster here.
And that Archon in the main can't get out either. It can't get out. It's actually stuck in the base.
He got the prism just to elevate that out. But now the 3rd base being so delayed means that TLO can drone up as he pleases. But instead of droning up, he's getting more links and a Hydra then, so he might want to play really aggressive here to make sure that that 3rd base never gets up.
And I think it's kind of the right call here. Drogo adding on 4 more gateways when he already had 4 in, on the field, so 8 gateways on 2 base, getting that charge. But the thing is, TLO actually has +1 weapons, which I think is super damn good against all of this stuff. And the fact that he's making a Baneling Nest too and a Spine Crawler, he's playing very, very safe against Drogo, but that's because he knows he's ahead. Man, what a bad start for Drogo to be in here. Like, losing that War Prism like that is so... The pressure of the stage all of a sudden can be very, very rough, you know. Oh, and another 3rd denied here. So again, TLO can just focus on battle units as opposed to droning. But he's still eking out a drone here and there. But he's just being very on top of the pressure.
That's a lot of links. Can Force will even be relevant here? Yeah. Just a little bit of surface area. That one Archon. The bodyguard. The bouncer.
Oh, but these queens are totally out of position here, Todd. Like, if these Archons turn around and take those out, that is a big brunt of TLO's army just not being in the mix.
Yeah, and there's a lot of drones actually that are vulnerable in that base, but right now PtitDrogo is focused on killing whatever's close to him. That's going to be those queens here in that location. Links coming in. It's kind of hard to face this many Archons with a very Ling-heavy composition, so it's going to be for the Hydralisk to really do the work. The counter-attack here of PtitDrogo doing a ton right now. TLO's plan almost backfiring here.
Oh, those queens being out on the map was a massive mistake for TLO, and Archons against Lings and drones. This is it's a catastrophe. The War Prism in the back can't be sniped either. Drogo is making this happen. The Charge Lot's charging against the Hydralisk as well. The Archons, and Drogo actually takes this game.
Wow. This was not the composition to beat mass Charge Lots and Archons. PtitDrogo said, you want to snipe my 3rd base and keep me on 2 bases? So be it. I'll counter-attack you with a ton of gateway units, Archons, and just kill you. And TLO just didn't have enough on his side of the map. He got caught off guard. I think he might not have spotted his move out as he needed to, and he wasn't quite ready enough. All the links were across the map.
That's the thing, right? He was focusing a lot on the attack, and those 4 Archons, they turned up, and the Queens, I still